My Podcast. Today we are joined by an LPGA star and a Canadian Hall of Fame inductee, Lorie Kane. Let's go! Thank you so much for joining my podcast. How have you been doing?
Zander, I've been pretty good in this crazy time. I've been home here on Prince Edward Island since the 1st of June. I had intended to head down to Florida way before now, but most of my golf tournaments were canceled. And so my dad's not been great, but he's doing better. So I'm home. I'm good to be home for Christmas.
It's a bummer. Like, COVID's just a big, it's horrible, COVID. So I just want to start off by saying congratulations on being elected in the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame and the Order of Sports Award. How did you feel when you, got that award? And
So the fun thing was, Zander, is they called me in March to tell me that I had been nominated and that my nomination was going through and that I would be named to the Order of Canada, to the Canada Sports Hall of Fame, but that I couldn't tell anybody until it was officially announced in May. So, and I'm not good at keeping secrets, but I had to keep this one. So I was able to tell Danny Sharp, my caddy, who you've met, and I shared with my sister, Mary Lynn, who is my lawyer, and she helps look after things. And then, of course, Jordan Snowy, who you met, and Chris Armstrong, my manager. So it's pretty overwhelming, to be honest with you, Zander. You and I both know I love what I do, and to be recognized for that, going in the Hall of Fame with Steve Nash, that's pretty cool.
yeah, that's awesome. And the first time that we met was in the CP Women's Open. What relationships do you have with the CP Women's Open?
Well, I'm an ambassador to CP and have been since the beginning of their part with us and women's golf, along with Brooke. We're there to help not only promote the golf side, but more importantly, to promote CP Has Heart. And that's because of that. That's why we met you.
So I read that you started golfing when you were 5 years old, and your parents were the ones who introduced you to golf. When did you realize that you were better than all the other kids and that you had a special gift?
Probably when I was 13 or 14. I didn't want to play that summer. I wanted to spend some time at my grandparents' cottage. And my dad always told me, because my dad was my coach, he told me that God had given you a talent and that it was a shame if you didn't take full advantage of it. I'm a multi-sport athlete, Zander. I play all sports like you do. And that golf was something that I did all the time, but I wasn't sure that how far it could take me. And I always wanted to be a professional athlete. And I knew probably I had a really good Canadian amateur in 1988, way before you were ever thought about coming to Earth. And so it was at that time that I realized, you know what, I think I can do this. I think I'm going to be on the LPGA Tour.
So you said that you were that you played other sports. What were those sports in PEI, and like when you were a kid, what other sports did you play?
School sports like basketball was one of my favorite, but I was a gymnast first. And then I was a synchronized swimmer, believe it or not. That's why I smile all the time. But basketball was probably the next thing that I would have done. I would say that was my favorite sport. Didn't play a lot of hockey, but I'm in a household with a dad who was a hockey coach at the University of Prince Edward Island. So hockey's been important to me, but just all sports, yeah.
So you went to Acadia, did I pronounce that right? Acadia University. Did you have a chance for a scholarship in the United States?
Well, yes, I did. A little bit. I looked into it, and at the time, financially, it just wasn't something that I could do. And so I was late to leave home. It was a big deal for me to go to Acadia. And my golf I was still playing some pretty good golf, but I wasn't quite probably at the level I needed to be to play college golf. And I didn't have the opportunity. So I was going to Acadia to play basketball actually. And then that just didn't pan out. I decided that the summer I was a freshman in 85 and I was just getting into my golf was coming around. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and go to school, concentrate on that. And then following summer, like 87, 88 was when I really started to excel with my golf. So yeah, I'm not disappointed that I didn't get a chance to go to the US college to play golf. I think my path, while it was different, it's been pretty good.
Yeah. Um, what was it like to play your first ever pro event? And was it cool to play with some women that you watched growing up?
Oh, yes. So my first LPGA event would have been referred to as the Du Maurier Classic prior to it being now named the CP Women's Open. It was pretty cool because, yeah, I think it was 90, maybe 93 or 94. I played the London Hunt Club, I think was where I first played. And it was just pretty wild to see everybody that I had seen on TV and standing next to them and on the range. And yeah, it was a great experience. And I realized that was what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. And what is the most stressful part of a tournament play? And do you get like large crowds, or do they make you nervous? Because like I just can't believe that they're so close and into the golf course. So did you ever think, oh, like I don't want to hit any of them. I just want to do like a straight drive, like a straight
Try not to
drive.
think about that, Zander. Actually, I think if you probably asked the same question to Brooke, and what I find interesting about this COVID time is watching the ladies play like I did this weekend with the CME, the Tour Championship, and there's no fans. And so and Brooke was quoted as saying she misses the fans because it allows us to be athletes and entertainers at what we do. Do you remember coming inside the ropes on 17 with me? After I played the par 3 and then you came under the ropes and watched me hit my tee shot. Were you nervous?
Was I nervous? I mean, I wasn't nervous. I was nervous for you, but
but we had fun, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what it is. That's I always say if you're not nervous, and I think your dad being a football player would agree with me that the nerves make it real. And you have your checklist to go through. And I always say I want my butterflies flying in sequence. And I love having fans out watching us because that's what's the fun part about it.
Has she ever seen someone bring a kid into a golf course before?
Did you hear that? Have you ever seen someone bring a kid into the golf course before?
No, I was probably the first.
Okay, so sorry if I pronounced this right, but what did Dawn Co Jones
Yes.
mean to you, and what did she do for women's golf in Canada?
Well, Dawn was a dear friend and gone way too soon. Dawn was just one of those players that was extremely appreciative of what she had and what she was, and she was going to let you into her world. There was no problem with that. She was going to play her best, do her best. If her golf was good, if her golf was bad, she was always the same. Very, very open, honest, and a very dear friend. And she helped me a ton because my first few years of playing at home in front of the hometown crowd, like Canadian Opens and the CP Women's Open, it was hard I felt a lot of pressure because I wanted to do so well. And she said, you need, her advice to me was, the fans are an extra club in your bag. So you need to know that they're here cheering you on, good, bad, or ugly. And yeah, I do miss her, Zander. She was,
Yeah.
she's a great lady.
Yes, she was a great lady. Do you think the game has changed over the years? And if so, how?
Well, it's changed a ton. I think with the equipment, the golf ball is going a long way. Our friends on the men's side of the PGA are hitting the ball a ton. I think the women's game has benefited from that. Brooke hits it long. I probably would have liked to have had that length when I was starting out. And I think it's the club ball combination. But it's all a positive. I think we need to make the game easier to be played by everyone. And when it might be easier to play from the amateur side, we as professional athletes, we train to be the best. So we're going to be able to take advantage of what equipment is going to allow us to do.
Yeah, and there's so much travel and so many tournaments. On top of all of that, you need so much practice. How tough is just one golf season?
Well, you have to manage your time for sure.
Yes.
I have been lucky. I like to travel. You have to lay out your week. You have to get your rest. You have to have your commitments and follow through with those. My relationship with CP and what we do during the week of the CP Women's Open, you've been there. You know how busy we are, but it's a good busy because at the end of the day, we're raising lots of great money for CP Has Heart, and you know how important that is. So it's Monday is a travel day, Tuesday is a practice day, Pro-Am day, Wednesday, and then the tournament starts.
Oh, that's a lot of stuff, like a lot of practice. What are some tips you could give about staying focused and not letting a bad shot get to you?
Right. That's a good question. What I've tried to do is it takes maybe 30 seconds to hit a shot. And you walk up to the ball, you're prepared to hit the shot. I'm lucky because I have a great caddy, as Brooke has Brittany. We get our numbers and the information. We pick a club, we hit it. And after it's gone, you just have to be accepting of wherever it is and go find it and hit it again. You can get, golf is tough and it's a long day. So it's really managing how fast you walk, you
Patience.
eat, keep yourself hydrated, all of those kind of things.
Yeah. And what is the best piece of advice you could give a young athlete, no matter what sport they play?
Leave it better than you found it.
Oh, okay. And what do Canadian golf fans have to look forward to with all the great young players?
Well, I think women's golf and golf in general in Canada is really in a positive place. We've got a lot of young girls, women, and boys coming up through the ranks. It's fun to watch. Yeah, we just need the continued support of the wonderful Canadian fans we have.
Okay, so now I have some rapid fire questions for you. Are you okay with that?
Oh, I'll do my best.
Okay, here we go. What is your most memorable LPGA moment?
My first win in St. Louis.
What is your favorite club in your bag?
Oh, putter.
What is more difficult, holding on to a lead or trying to catch the leader?
Holding the lead.
Aside from golf, what Olympic sport would be cool for you to compete in?
Basketball.
Name 3 golfers you would like to have in your ultimate foursome, past or present man or woman.
Wow, that's a tough one. So I would want to I'd love to play with Tiger. I think I would have loved to have played with Mr. Palmer and Mickey Wright.
Who is your all-time favorite athlete?
Mark Messier.
Who is your greatest inspiration?
My family.
What is your favorite golf course to play?
Oh, I'm gonna say the old course, St. Andrews.
What is your favorite sports movie?
Sports movie. I don't think I have one.
Okay, and this is kind of a similar question. What is your biggest inspiration?
The work that I get to do with CP Has Heart and meeting guys and kids like you.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much for joining my podcast. It's been great speaking with you. And if you would like, we'll send you a hoodie or a baseball T-shirt. You could pick. Also, you guys could go on my website, zandersattilney.com. And like I
Okay.
said, thank you so much for joining my podcast. And I hope to see you soon.
Well, we're gonna come back to Ottawa here. So Zander, you and I have a date.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
See ya.
Bye.